Hello, my sweet friend. I am Cristina Arevalo, cake business productivity coach and podcaster. I help cake makers like you manage your business productively and with ease, taking control of your time and workflow to avoid stress and burnout. I offer personalized strategies and supportive community to help you stay organized, productive, and in charge of your success. Your cake business should bring you joy, not stress. I'm here to help you build an efficient, successful, and sustainable business without feeling overwhelmed and burned out. With the right planning, strategies, and mindset, you can reach your goals, stay organized, and enjoy the journey. Let's make your cake business work for you, not the other way around. Well, hello, my sweet friends, and welcome to another episode of the Art Cake Coach podcast. Christina here. Super happy to have you all back. As promised, today's episode is our interview with three members of Cake International. We had Melanie Underwood, we had Jane Hutton, and we had David Close with us. This podcast was recorded on May of this year, a few a few months ago, still current today. I just edited and it's still current today, but it has to be quite edited. Also, my friend Yvonne from Adventures in Cakeland is here with us because that this is the first episode of the series of episodes on the future of the cake industry, starting with cake competition, specifically with Cake International. I don't know if it was because we had five guests on the episode, the recording was a bit messy and it took me a while to edit it. So, if you listen to any hard noises or if the volume of different speakers is not the same, even if you have some background conversation or some background noise, I'm sorry, but I did the best that I could. But the information is there, the information that you need to know, some questions that needed to be asked, and as always, and a happy takeaway, and just waiting for everybody to get together at Cake International once more. So thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and leave me your comments and your feedbacks to know what you thought of this one. Thank you so much and enjoy. Hi there. If you like this podcast and enjoy this episode, there's only one thing I ask from you. Please follow this podcast, download this episode, and leave me a started review in any of your favorite podcast platforms where you're listening to this show now. This way, the algorithm will show the podcast to more cake artists who will benefit from, and you'll be helping me grow this show. And don't forget to share it on social media and tag me, and I'll gladly follow you back. I would love to hear what you have to say. Leave me a comment on Spotify or answer any of the questions and polls on the episode. Let me invite you to follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok as the Art Cake Coach, or follow the links on the show notes to find out more ways to stay connected. Visit www.theartcakecoach.com for more. Podcast Christina here. I'm super happy because this is a podcast first. We have five people here, including myself. I mean, yeah, five including myself. Guests on the show. It's the first time. I think the top that I had was three. Now it's five of us, but for a good reason. For a good reason. This is the first episode of the series of episodes that we're going to do with Yvonne Donnell. Hello, Yvonne. How are you doing today?
Hi, Chris. You okay?
Good. And we have, I mean, what a way to start. We have the three heads that put together Cake International. We have Melanie Underwood, head of the show, and the awards that are coming this year. We have Jane Hutton, which is the head judge of Bake International. And of course, it has to be David Close, the head judge of Cake International. Welcome, everyone.
Thank you.
Hello. How are you guys doing today? Good?
Yeah, all good. All good.
Excellent.
Yeah, fine.
Excellent. So, if you guys listened to these episodes before, you know that Yvonne and I sat down and talk about all of the changes that are happening in our cake industry. Where is everything going? We feel like we are in I don't know, pivoting point as far as tendencies, as social media, as cake shows, as what the customer wants for us as cake decorators. Um, I'm sure there have been other points like this, but I think we are in the verge of a turning point. And of course, we really want to know, how is Cake International facing this turning point? Um, what is your opinion on everything that is happening, and what can we expect of of the upcoming Cake and Bake International this November of 2025? So let's start with Melanie. Melanie, what can you say about all of this?
Well, we did foresee the industry changing about 3 years ago, I suppose. I can't remember when we launched Bake International, but we could see the industry going more interested in the baking side, which is crazy because obviously the majority of cake artists do bake anyway. But from feedback from the show, we had a lot of people asking for more baking in the show. So, which is why we introduced the baking side and the bake competition. So, I don't know, David and Jane might disagree with me, but I could see the trend going more towards the baking side. So that's why,
Yeah.
yeah, hence us introducing.
I do too. I do too. It's like more people. It's I see it from the customer point of view. Like they're more interested in simple but tasteful, with good taste, good feelings, a good cake than in the decoration. And it's what the audience want, and what most of the cake decorators are now going to, instead of, I don't know, creating maybe a sculpted cake. They're back to baking cookies because it's what their customer wants. What do you think, guys? Jane, being the head judge of Bake International, what's your opinion about what's going on?
I think there's been quite a trend for since we've had Bake Off on television. It has seemed to energize people into going back to baking, and so I think, to bring this into Cake International as another arm, if you like, has been really exciting, and it's something that we can see growing. And as we write the competition schedule, each year we review it and look to see how we can improve on it, and encourage people to take part in baking.
Yeah,
So there is a trend for people wanting nice things to eat. And
it's true.
as a
Yeah.
teacher as well, I used to teach that when we were doing cake decorating, that actually you can have a fantastic cake, but if it doesn't taste any good, you're not going to get your customers back. So it's really good to involve baking as part of the whole competition area, really.
Yeah, and absolutely true. I mean, it's what really the cake is for. It doesn't matter if you do an amazing sculpted cake. If it doesn't taste good, nobody's going to come back. So, yeah, I totally agree with you, Jane. David, what's your opinion? What is the tendency? What's going on with our cake industry?
Well, to be quite honest, I have to agree with every what everybody said at the present moment in time. But do you know what's more important is that we at Cake International, we have the ability to listen to our clients. We listen to our competitors. I've always said that we are a listening organization, and we certainly do. So we will make changes and adapt for what they feel they require. And I say that what they feel they require because we have the ultimate sort of jurisdiction as to what to put into the schedule. But certainly listening and getting involved with some of the groups and the social groups and the comments that they have, not as a member of that group, but having some input into that group by means of a lead.
Yeah.
So we're able to get that information. And to us, that's invaluable, absolutely invaluable information. Because if we don't give them what they want, then consequently, they're not going to come to the show.
Yeah.
Baking, we've seen, for example, a 50% increase from last year. And it's
Wow.
amazing. It's not really amazing for the judges, though, because they have to eat 50% more
Yeah.
and
If
taste
you
the
need
things
if
that.
you need any help, just let me know. I'm
And then
around.
generally after
Fine.
the first 20 exhibits, your palate's sort of gone. But you know what? We have
I was
methods
wondering.
to get that. Eh? It's a fabulous show, and people are really enjoying that aspect. And Jane's quite right. Um, the cake shows, the bake shows that they've got on TV are really galvanizing individuals to go back. I think also the economy has got something to do with it
Okay.
because people
Interesting.
are saying to themselves, well, why would I go and buy a cake in the shop if I can make one? Because things are getting more expensive. So they're looking after the pounds, shillings, and pence, as I used to say in
Yeah.
those days gone by.
Mhm. Yeah.
And
And
you're
another
quite right.
thing, I'm sorry. Yeah, continue, David.
No,
Sorry.
and you're quite right. A lot of people are sort of looking at the sugarcraft side, and it's becoming more of an art form,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and they're focusing in. So if you're a fabulous artist and so flamboyant, you
Mm.
know, they're sort of saying, you know, there's no point in me putting anything in. I can't compete with that.
Mm.
And we at Cake International are trying to make sure that we have that balance, that
Mhm.
everybody competes. I mean, for example, this year we've got a beginners class. And in the beginners class, we're also thinking about our industry because without our industry, without the support of our partners, without the support of the models, the molds, and everything else.
Got
But
it.
one of
Yeah.
the questions we keep getting at Cake International is, well, we're here supporting you and selling our molds and everything else, but people aren't buying them because you won't even put them into your competitions.
True. It's true. It's true. Okay. Okay. So that's
So
good.
we've listened to that and we've said, okay, so there is a class available this year in Bake Novice in the main the main Cake International class, and it's all about doing that. But like any mold, it's only a medium to form.
Mm. Yeah.
You then have to make that bespoke to yourself. You have to give that
Yeah.
life. You know, if you're going to do a pearl strand around the base of a cake, don't just stick it in the mold and throw it on there because you're not going to get anywhere. You
Yeah.
need to really get your tweezers in there and give it life. Let it talk. Put some personality into it.
True.
And I think people are starting to do that now. But
Yeah.
I'll give somebody else the opportunity to chat because I know what I'm like when I go off.
Oh yeah, and I know, David. I know. I know once you start talking, but it's okay. It's okay. I'll ask everybody else. Okay. I know you had some questions prepared for our judges here. Would you like to share it with us? You
Yeah,
listened to
so
everything they
you've
said, they
sort of
mentioned.
touched upon some of them already, and there's only a few questions. But the first one, I think you more or less answered, is about the decision to go down the Bake International route as well as Cake International. Because I think what I've noticed, I've been in the industry a long time. So I started my business 2011, and I come from a hospitality background. So I'm a chef by trade. I'm a hospitality manager now. So I've been around food literally all my life, and I've been to Cake International for a long time, and I've seen the changes, and I've also seen the changes within the cake world as well. And I think since the pandemic, that's been the great we've drawn a line under everything, and I think people have pivoted and they've realised that they can make money in their business, but not necessarily from celebration cakes and wedding cakes like we've always done. People are finding a different route to make a very successful business. So people have pivoted and they just make brownies, or they just make cookies, or they just do these cake sheds that are becoming popular. So I'm wondering, obviously this is happening now, but I'm wondering whether has been an influence regarding Bake International, because I know you said, Jane, about the popularity of Great British Bake Off. So it's infused everybody to start baking. But I'm wondering from a business perspective whether people are just trying to find a different route, and you sort of tapped into that, or it's totally irrelevant regarding Bake International.
And
I think what I noticed years ago, a few years back, cupcakes became very, very popular. And a
Yeah,
lot of people started to create a business from just cupcakes. They
yeah,
knew nothing else about decorating, or it had really a lot of skill, but they could make a cupcake, and they started to create businesses from that. I think then it came to a point where they realized they needed more information. So in training, I used to have people come to me and say, well, I can make a cake, but now I need to make more flavors, or I need to learn more about decorating. And so it opened their minds to there's more to it than just the cupcake. So I think there is that was one trend that started changing things, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Good.
Okey-doke. Yeah.
And Jane, picking up on that, of course, you mentioned in the baking and the TV baking shows, it's a major influence, and people are looking for more knowledge. Um, what is expected if I wanted to participate on Bake International? What is the core evaluation in there? Because I know David has been here before and he had uh, tell us about what requires to what are the requirements to be part of Cake International. But I've never been a participant on Bake International. What is expected from me as a participant?
That's a difficult one because it depends what competition you're entering. But I
Okay.
think obviously there's a love that you want to bake and you perhaps like making cakes or biscuits. It's an opportunity to just show what you can do. And I think what's really important and what we do is give feedback, because if someone's entered a competition, say they've done a I don't know, Victoria sandwich, which is, the basic cake, if you like. Everyone makes a Victoria sandwich. You can enter that class, and then you'll soon find out that if you don't get anywhere, then you think, well, why didn't I get anywhere? I can make a cake. I've used the same ingredients. Why is there a difference? And then you can talk about technique and how they made it and give them advice on how to improve on what they've done. They might have been not mixing it enough, or they might not have had the right baking temperature, or they might have not greased and floured their mold correctly. There could be lots of reasons why it hasn't turned out the way it should. So it is a learning experience. But the point is that there's people there that they can talk to and get advice from. And we give written feedback and we try to address the issues that we see as a problem for not
Okay,
getting in
so
a higher award.
does it work similar to the valuation on Cake International? Like you enter with
No,
100 points and then
it
you.
does and it doesn't.
Oh, okay.
I think it does and it doesn't, because when we're looking at Cake International, we're looking at a different scoring mechanism.
Mm.
We had a discussion, for example, last year, that when we looked at the Bake International, we were looking at the feedback sheet. We came up with the idea that we need to change the balance. We need to give a weighting somewhere within that scoring system. So we now look at, for example, the original design and concept, and we're giving that out of 15 marks. We're looking at the external visual appearance, and we're giving that 15 marks. We're looking at the quality of the workmanship, and we're giving that 20 marks. And we're looking at the recipe and the attention to detail and giving that 20 marks. Now, it doesn't take a rocket science to understand that there's 30 marks missing here.
Hmm.
And
Well,
those are going to be
I
the
wasn't
most,
counting, but okay.
these are going to be the most important marks. And those are the marks for the internal taste, texture, and flavor,
Okay.
because it is a bake competition.
Mm.
So the bake must come, and we've listened to what the competitors said last year, and we've changed it to meet their requirement, because they really want to focus. They want to know more about the bake texture and flavor, and they want to know about the physical appearance.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
So
Interesting.
they're really going back to basics. But we would say the same thing. I mean, look how many fruitcakes we have this last year.
Yeah.
And again, we're going to have fruitcakes this year, but you're going to get them where they're going to be dark. You're going to get them where they're going to be light. You're going to get them where there's a different interpretation of what a fruitcake is.
I was going to ask that because it's quite subjective, isn't it?
Yes.
What you like
But-
and what I like, and I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you've also got to take consideration. It's one of the reasons why we won't have one judge doing it, because it's too subjective. So we have two judges doing it. They have to confer at this, because you're also getting the flavors. My palate might pick up spices. Jane's palate might pick up fats. So we need to make sure that we've got an overall balance and that we come up with a consolidated answer. So it's normally one of the competitions where you would get a bit of collaboration between the judges, because they have to be on the same song sheet.
It's subjective. I'm just playing devil's advocate here, because you've got a fruitcake and how you expect a fruitcake to taste. So
Okay.
how can it be subjective if you have
Right. The reason I would say that, Melanie, is the fact that let me give you an example. We had a fruitcake last year, and I think it came from Jamaica. And what they tend to do with the fruits in Jamaica is they mince them.
Yeah.
So they mince them and put the fruit through, and then they put the spices through. So it's not as we would understand in the UK of a
Yeah.
fruitcake.
Mm.
And then you've got some people who are putting a fruitcake in like a Dundee cake,
Mm.
Oh.
or they're putting a
Okay.
cherry cake. So we've got to be quite prescriptive on the type of cake that we're asking them to do.
Yeah.
So it's very different because that interpretation we've got. Sorry, Yvonne.
No, it's okay. It's interesting what you said about the fruitcake, actually, because when I came to Cake International last year and I saw the fruitcake, I thought, because I do the Jamaican style fruitcake and it's still a fruitcake, but it's prepared in a different way. So with the spec for the fruitcake, I'm like, well, what are they expecting? Are they expecting the traditional British fruitcake, or are they saying that we can make a cake made with fruit? Because if that's the case, I'll enter my cake, but it's still got dried fruit, but it's prepared and made in a different way, if that makes sense. So I think regarding your competition, just clarify either way, whether it's the traditional kind of British fruitcake with pieces of fruit, or you can do a fruitcake but using other forms of fruit, if that makes sense. Because I thought, oh, well, enter. But I thought, well, do they really want to have this Jamaican style cake, which is made in a different way? So yeah, that was
made a
when
good
I saw
point
that,
there.
it was interesting.
Yeah, you've made a good point there, because it's again us sort of tying up the wording on the competition, and we work hard at this, but it's because we're British, we're thinking British, I suppose, but we are trying to be open to other interpretations, and we appreciate, having taught as well, that a lot of people do a minced fruit cake. So
Yeah,
it's a good point, and I think, certainly take that on board as to something we can just clarify perhaps in that competition.
yeah, definitely. Which way you want to go? Because I
Yeah.
think, and also if you do different flavour cakes or different styles of cakes, you're going to have somebody that can appreciate what that cake's supposed to taste like. So Jamaican fruit cake, for example, with the minced fruit, I've had some really good ones, but I've had some awful ones.
Oh,
But
yeah,
if you're not used to it, you wouldn't know
it's the
which
same with
one
the
is which.
traditional cake, I can tell you.
Yeah.
We get some good ones.
It's good. Yeah. Actually, I was wondering the same, because here in Portugal, also I baked two different ones, the Venezuelan one and the Portuguese one, and they're different. They're
Yeah.
different kind of fruit cake.
Yeah.
And it's different from the British fruit cake. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in that case, maybe we should have a category with fruitcakes from around the world or something.
international,
International, that would be fun.
Traditional fruitcake and international fruitcake.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's some good points. This is good, because we're all open to having these conversations, and
That's great.
it's International Bacon Cake, isn't it? So so let's sort of think about that. Yeah, good.
Great.
David.
Yeah.
Good. Oh,
You
great.
make-
We had an idea from the show. Awesome. And if you cannot see them, but they're all writing down right now.
Yeah, we have to, because every year when we go to the show, and every year we do the analysis, and if anything comes up, I have a master copy of the schedules, the 3 schedules.
Yeah.
And if somebody brings it to our attention, I write it on the schedule.
Mm.
That way, when we do the analysis at the end, we've got additional comments.
Yeah.
We get comments coming in questions and appeals, but we're able to turn around and evaluate each of those questions and give the individual an answer. So it doesn't pacify them,
Yeah.
but it gives them the ability to understand where we're coming from and where they're coming from. And we need to have that synergy together so that we're all working for the same outcome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, a
Last
prime
year,
example
David-
was
sorry.
a prime example last year was there was a bit of ambiguity over the bread class.
Yeah.
What?
Over the bread class, brown wholemeal flour versus a white loaf. And of course, wholemeal flour is wholemeal flour. So we had a bit of a debate, because they're saying, well, it's still brown flour. And we're saying, yes, but it's wholemeal flour. So we've changed this year. We've just called it brown flour and white flour. So if you want to use wholemeal or any other dark flour, you can use those. And we're learning all the time. We're trying to meet what the competitor wants. We're not trying to, and we're also taking into consideration that we do have some professional bakers entering the bake section.
Mm.
And they may be patissiers and they may be doing it for a long time, but we're also thinking about that individual who just wants to have a go, who
Yeah.
just wants to learn their skills. And
Yeah.
more importantly, the people that are judging are at the top of their game. So they are getting feedback from some of the top people who've been in the business for such a long time. They've been tutors, lecturers in colleges and delivering training for a long time. So they know their onions, for want of a better word. And we're trying to give them the best feedback we can so that they can then reach their objectives and their goals.
Yeah. From last year, I remember when we met for and now we're doing like an annual episode on Cake International. So last year episode, I know you mentioned there were a lot of changes. There were, tweaks here and there on the schedule for, I'm talking about Cake International. How was the outcome of that? Was it positive? People understood better compared to the previous year? Did you have less issues with, I don't know, misunderstandings or whatever? How did that work?
Well, I mean, every year, as David's already explained, every year after the show, we take all the feedback that we receive, and David and I, because David is in charge of, even though we've introduced Jane as head judge, which she is, David is in charge of. We've got the umbrella of Cake International.
The head judge.
Yeah, underneath we have Bake International, and I'm floating around somewhere else. So every year, David and I run through all the feedback that we receive, and I think it's been a lot more positive. Do you agree?
Good.
Oh no, I have to, because there was times when we felt that we were trying to be too prescriptive and we weren't giving any latitude so that they hadn't any freedom of expression. And then this year we've taken a step back from that, and we think we've done it, but you know what? Every year we think we've cracked this schedule and there's nothing going to come across.
There's something that comes up.
And something comes out of the blue and we don't even know where it's come from.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I was asking, because I know that one of the changes was that you made it not so specific, so people will have a little bit room to maneuver, right?
Yes.
But I was just wondering if it was a positive outcome of that. Good to know.
I would
that it
definitely
was
say. I
positive.
would definitely say so.
But like you said, there's always something, right?
Will be something. Yes, we certainly hope so.
Yeah. Well, let's see if this year is it, right? Good. Melanie, now tell me, we heard about the competition, what is expected. I'm so glad, Yvonne, I'm sure you too, to hear that Bake International is picking up, because, I mean, it's great to see another competition grow, and it kind of speaks about where our industry is heading. Love it. What about extra special content just for you? Audio classes, downloadable templates and PDFs, and ready to use information that will actually create results on your cake business. And all of this for less than one monthly coffee? Let me invite you to subscribe to the Art Cake Coach subscription channel with exclusive content delivered to you every month. Have access to audio classes and workshops on goal setting, time management, social media, posting, pricing, mindset, and teaching for only $2.99 a month. That's $2.99 a month. It can be yours. Follow the links to the subscription platform on the description of this episode, and with a little investment, find essential tools to start a solid business strategy and coach you for success. Thank you for being part of the Art Cake Coach family. Now, Melanie, tell us about the show, the stores participating, the products. What are we going to see this year? What's going to happen?
Oh gosh! So this year, at the moment, I'll tell you what. If I tell you what I'm doing at the moment, that might make it a bit clearer. So at the moment, I'm planning all the features that will be at the show. Emma Jane is doing Michael Jackson, so she is going to create
Oh, cool.
Jackson. I think he's going to be in various forms as well, because obviously his face did change, didn't it, over the years? So, and then we've also got Sugar Screams coming back with a very large feature, which will be absolutely amazing.
Wow.
What else do we have? We have two theatres, obviously, with their demonstration. We have the normal, usual hands-on workshops dotted around the room. We have the National Sugar Art, the British Sugar Craft Guild, Taste of Sugar. They're going to be there. We've got workshops, I think, are already on sale. But I'm adding more throughout the weeks. The usual exhibitors, and we've got the awards as well. We closed yesterday actually, so we have thousands of nominations per category. We've got 15 categories where we will be selecting the 4 finalists from these thousands of nominations. It's just making me feel very tired. We do have an admin team that will be doing it. I've just got a horrible feeling that I'll be quite involved with it as well. So, and then David, who is going to be one of the judges, but he'll be more actively involved. He doesn't realise that yet, but David will be
Now you know, David. Now you know.
telling you on the podcast, so you can't back out. So 4 finalists per category, and then the judges will be having a Zoom meeting, and they will be discussing these 4 finalists. So yeah, very exciting. Saturday, the 1st of November, at the Hilton Hotel. So we'll all be dressed in, I suppose David will be turning up in his tuxedo, but we'll all be dressed in our finery, and and we'll have a live band as well, which we haven't announced.
Ooh, that sounds fun. That sounds like fun.
I'm not sure, but that's very exciting as well. Yeah.
It is. It is. We missed that for a couple of years, that gathering and getting everybody, looking good and celebrating the industry. So I'm really, really happy that it's back. Yeah.
It is. It's great fun. 3-course dinner. So yeah, event. Great fun.
It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. And I mean, for being the first time. It is the first time that it's done, right? You never done the awards before.
No, we haven't done one before.
No. It was a big turnout, right? A lot of nominations, a lot of people interested in participating. Great. Awesome.
Yeah, it's looking
Awesome.
very good.
You mentioned before that you listen to the groups, right? You listen to the feedback of the participants from the previous years and to the group. What have they been saying? What have you picked up from that
Well, you
feedback?
pick up lots of bits and pieces. They give you the example, for example, that they felt that on the bake side that there should be a little bit of a weighting. So we put that weighting element in because it's to focus on the taste rather than the appearance.
Okay.
But even when it comes down to the general competition, they want to know where they can improve. We had a couple of classes last year where we didn't allow lighting or sound or turntables. And they came sort of back at us and sort of said, hold on a minute, we like lighting, sound and turntables. So we've tried to be flexible to put those things in, particularly when it comes to things like decorated exhibit, because it's not for human consumption. So again, they're trying to really show off their skills. So that's important. And it's important that we listen to them.
Mm-hmm.
But it's more important that the competitor reads the schedule, because that's the most important thing they can do. Read it and then read it again, because, we have tried to be as clear as we possibly can. We've given the opportunity for individuals to ask questions right up until September, Melanie. They can ask questions.
Yes, September.
Right up until we're giving them the opportunity to go to the Cake International competitors question group and put them on there. And we've up to date, we've had 50 odd already.
Okay.
So that's important. And then we discuss those, and then we look at those and say, okay, and it's just a bit like the comments we made tonight. Maybe there will be 2 classes next year in the fruitcake. One will be traditional and one will be, for example, international.
Okay.
Or overseas, or whatever we want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the type of thing we get involved in, because we really want to make the competition for the competitor. Because without the competitor, we haven't got a great show. And there's nothing more enjoyable than seeing the competitors coming in and seeing them on the Sunday morning when those tent cards go out and seeing their faces. And you're going to get the cries of joy and you're going to get tears of dismay. But you know what? It's not about the competition per se. It's about having the bravery and the courage to go up there and put your exhibit on the table. And more importantly, I've seen competitors come in and they go to put it on the table and they look to their left and they look to their right and they then say, God, why am I even bothering?
Oh, that's me every year. Yeah. It's like,
But
why do I do this to myself?
you're not competing against anybody else.
I know.
You're
That's why I
competing
keep
against
doing
the
it.
standard.
Yeah.
And we like to think at Cake International that the standard that we have is the platinum standard. So everybody wants to aspire to come to Cake International because that's where you're going to get the top judges. That's where you're going to get a real consensus of opinion. And I believe we get very good feedback. Those individuals that we spoke to following last year's event, a lot of the information came back, said, love the feedback. And you know what? Giving them that reflection period, rather than having that face-to-face contact with a judge, they then get that opportunity to read their feedback and reflect on their feedback. Because when you're coming up to competitions, that emotion,
Yeah,
you
there's
put
a lot
in
of
blood, sweat,
emotion,
and tears.
tiredness, a lot of things
Yeah,
involved. Yeah.
you've done all of that, but they've got to remember that each and every individual one of those judges has been in that exact same position on many occasions. They've all had to stand in their shoes. They've all had to go through that experience to make sure, for example, they can empathize with a competitor.
Yeah. Yeah. It is true. Everything, I mean, from the perspective of somebody who has competed, is every little bit is true. That's what makes me keep going, is the fact that I'm competing with myself, nobody else. Like, I'm not competing against anybody. Especially, I have to say, especially last year with the Chinese, that was something like, my piece was next to one of them. I was like, oh my God. Like, what am I doing here? They were standing. I mean, what they did was mind-blowing. And if you think that you're going to compete against them, forget it. But no, that's not the case of Cake International. I bet Bake International is the same.
Yeah.
It's not the case.
Yeah.
So do you think that's the secret why it's been going on for so long and people keep going? And it's a reference?
I think it is because it's personal. It's not just an award. It's a personal award and a personal feedback. If we see anybody lifting up a piece of paper and opening it to read somebody's feedback, we will get somebody to go and have a word with them, because that's private.
Yeah.
You know, it's just yours. This is for you and you alone.
Okay.
So it is important. And I do feel that Cake International is a family, and they get not only the family vibe, but they get the support of all the competitors around. And you look, when somebody wins the award, and it might even just be a merit. And I don't mean the word just, I mean the first step on their journey into Cake International.
Yeah.
And you see the expression on their face, and you see people coming up and wishing them well, and you see the accolades on Facebook. And I don't think I've seen many other areas where I've gone onto social media after a competition and seen that people have got their feedback sheets and posted their feedback sheets. And you'll get that comment, I was one off a gold medal. Where's that 1 point gone? But that's between the judge and the competitor.
Yeah.
We tend to find that we have a lot of judges appear after Cake International.
Oh,
They
but that's
come out of social media
That's a different
all
game.
over the
Yeah.
place.
Yeah.
So I would say anybody entering, if you're going to enter, make sure that you speak to someone who is not frightened to tell you exactly what they feel regarding your exhibit. Don't go to your loved ones, because you know what? Happy wife, happy husband, happy life.
They're gonna say it's
It's
beautiful.
not about, they're going to say it's amazing. You want somebody who's going to give you a critique,
Yeah.
who's really going to tell you. And what I would say is, do not fail to, we plan, and we plan to succeed. We do not plan to fail. But what we've got to take into consideration life gets in the way. We don't know what's around the corner. We don't know what's going to interject during that period of our planning. So it's always good to plan early and build in a fudge factor of approximately 4 weeks, because at that 4 week period, you're coming up to Cake International. Well, believe you me, life is starting to get very difficult. Only take on what you can. Don't enter 6 exhibits if you know you're only going to compete at 100% in 2 of them.
Got it.
Focus on what you do best, but give it 100% for each exhibit that you put in and get that constructive feedback. Do not put it on social media, because that's a straightforward,
It's
unlucky.
Yeah.
Thanks very much indeed, but we've seen it, and that's even an element of your exhibit. But again, use the groups, use that whole cake family that you've got to really give you good feedback.
I think we've got 3,500 members, is it, in the group? And David and myself, we're not in that group, but Vicky, she runs it with her other.
Yeah. Vicky gives you the feedback from whatever is going on.
Contact, but I know there are a couple of other ladies out there. I think they're female that help Vicky as well. So yeah, they're amazing in that group. The admin in that group, absolutely incredible.
Great.
And they're not frightened to tell us.
No,
Believe you me, Vicky is not frightened to say anything.
I don't see Vicky doing that. Yeah. I mean,
She
I don't see her afraid.
But you know what? She's an amazing support. And we can't thank her enough for what she does and for what the group do, because they're the interaction.
Yeah.
So rather than us getting bombarded, some of the questions she can answer.
Yeah.
And when I go onto the spreadsheet, I just say agree, and then that's released and it goes back to the competitor. So that's excellent to have that. And she's so articulate when it comes to it.
She is.
Somebody like me might just give you a carte blanche. This is what you do, but she will go into the detail for it.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I wouldn't have the time to do all of that. So she's meticulous in what she does.
It's good to have Vicky then. It's definitely good to have. As your cake coach, I am here to help you. If you want to go a little bit further in your journey to organize your time, set clear goals, maybe teach, work on your mindset, or set a roadmap for results, especially for results and success, I am here for you. Why don't you book a free discovery call with me? I will be leaving the links here in this episode so we can chat, we can talk about what you really need, and we can see if we're a good fit for each other. Remember, I have just one mission in this cake world. First is to unite the cake community as one, and to make you, my cake artist, my sweet friend, understand the importance of investing in you. Like I said, I will be leaving the links here in the description of this episode so you can book a 30 minutes free discovery call with me. And just remember, in case nobody said this to you today, I do appreciate you and I want you to stay safe and stay creative.
I think you spoke about it a little bit, but I couldn't quite hear. And it was about your new cake award and some of the categories that are that you've put in there. I noticed there was a social media. Is it social media creator or one of those categories in the new awards? So obviously you're recognising that regarding social media, because I use TikTok and I use TikTok a lot, and I know there's some massive creators on there now, and there's some people earning some decent money on there as well. So I'm assuming that you're recognising that social media and baking going hand in hand these days. Is that why you've decided to put that category into the award show?
Absolutely, yeah. It like you say, people are earning money, aren't they, on TikTok? So yeah, we see it as part of their business model now to be on social media. So, and that's why we produced it. That's why we introduced the category of on. You're quite right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good idea. And
Sorry,
when I was speaking, sorry.
I think also, for example, we want to make sure that we reach as many audiences as we possibly can. These mediums are a means of getting our audience together. So if we can have individuals who are delivering whatever type of training they're delivering, but in sugarcraft, we're going to keep our industry alive. And we have to keep our industry alive, because that's the way it will thrive. We've already seen an increase, for example, from the year before last to last year in our numbers, and we're hoping for the same again. We're hoping to get back to, what is it, Melanie? 1,900, 1,800 in 2019.
Didn't you say if we ever got back to that figure again, you
It would kill me. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an aspiration.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's a goal. There
yeah,
you go.
no, it is.
Yeah.
Let's get back to
Yeah.
that.
But do you think sugar paste? Because for me myself, I started off as a sugar paste creator. So I used to make cakes with sugar paste. I went to the College of Food. I had some very good tutors, things like that. And as my business has gone on, I've sort of put that to one side. Hardly use sugar paste anymore. I'm buttercream, I'm ganache, I'm going back to baking, I'm going back to doing treat boxes with meringues in it and all sorts of things. And I'm just wondering whether sugar paste, it's as popular, because I've noticed that some of the younger creators on TikTok, they can't use it. They struggle to understand how to use it. They're not using it. So there's buttercream left, right, and centre everywhere you look. But I'm not seeing as much sugar-based cakes as I used to see, maybe even 5 years ago as opposed to now. So is that reflective in your numbers for Cake International as well, or have you not noticing no difference?
Is that reflected in our numbers? Sorry, I didn't.
Yeah, entering the sugar with sugar paste entries, I mean, as opposed to
Do you mean into the competition? Are we in the competition?
yeah, sorry, yeah, into the competition with that medium, yeah.
Well, what did we have last year, David? It was over 1,000 entries.
It's over 1,000 entries last year, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we have adjusted the competition to include buttercream as well. We don't have a buttercream category, which is something that we could consider for next
Yeah,
year.
because I see so much of that, especially with the younger cake makers entering the industry, because there's no anybody can come into the industry. You can bake a cake, you can decorate a cake with buttercream, and there's loads. But when it comes to sugar paste, they even say, I can't use sugar paste. I don't know how to use it. It intimidates me. So I thought that's really interesting, because when I started, I never touched buttercream. The only buttercream I used was going inside the cake. It wasn't going around the cake. But now it seems to switch the other way, that people are using that medium more and using sugar paste less. And I thought it was really interesting to see how that's changed over the past, how many years, 10, 15 years or so. Really
It's
interesting.
interesting because you say you started with sugar paste. I started with royal icing. And
Oh,
it
wow,
shows
yes,
you
yeah.
how, so I'm one of the old school. Royal icing was
Yeah,
what I worked with. And I
yeah.
never learned about sugar paste in college. It wasn't till I came out to industry, and that's I taught myself that how to use it. But it's
Yeah,
interesting, and you can see how the trends do change
they
and
do.
how we have to be open to those changes. So I think in the
Mm,
bake side, there's the opportunity of doing buttercream gâteaux to start to introduce that as a way to show them what the skills are,
yeah,
and that they can, introduce them to doing the bake-off side. And then maybe we can look at something in the cake side where we can let them free with the buttercream. But
Yeah.
it's just shows you
yeah.
the
Because
trends, how they work.
the change, and they're our future. I mean, I'm a lady of a certain age, so they're the future. They're the next generation of sugar paste
Yeah, yeah.
cake creators coming through now, aren't they? And they're just doing things in a different manner. I mean, the Lambeth Star cake is just everywhere, and I mean, that's a nod back to royal icing, isn't it?
It
That's
is,
a
yeah,
nod back
definitely.
to Eddie
Yeah,
Spence and those guys that did that.
yeah.
That
I
medium
think,
back in the day. So it's just
yeah,
really
I think
interesting to
also as
see
well,
how everything is transitioning.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
I mean, there's
I
nothing
was just going to say, Igor, and
Yeah.
I think also there's a hybrid now as well, because they'll be using royal
Yeah.
icing for the decoration, but they'll be using fondant for the covering of the cakes rather than do the royal icing cake, because
Yeah.
they find
Yeah.
it difficult to do the base foundation. So they'll use sugar paste
Yeah.
and then decorate on top.
But David, there's nothing to stop you
Mm.
using the buttercream, is there, in certain
No,
categories? Because
no,
we
in
did
certain categories there's not. No,
for years.
we've just said cook it in any edible medium.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, but
Yeah.
oddly enough, we haven't had. Have we had any entries?
We've had we've had it in the cupcakes. So the cupcake decorations, there was a lot of them that were doing things like succulents and
Yeah.
flowers.
Well, maybe it's something
Mm.
we need to look at for a separate class purely to let them realise they can do it. They might look at it
Yeah.
and think, oh, it's just sugar paste or royal icing. There's nowhere to do
Mm.
buttercream. So maybe it's is something to think about for next year.
I'm
We,
thinking, I'm thinking
as I said
here,
before, as I said before, we are a listening organisation. So, for example, a couple of years ago, the Porcelain Society came to us
Mm.
and said, you know, we want to have a porcelain class here. We used to have it years ago. We have it back, and there was about 20 odd people said yes, 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 we'll enter. So we put a class on. I think we put two classes on, two categories on. I think we got 6. Which is very difficult for us because we want to make sure, for example, that it's going to be viable
yeah,
that we get individuals in.
yeah. I'm
I think-
thinking with the buttercream. I'm thinking myself, for example, as somebody who travels overseas to go there, I would never, even though I love it, I would never enter because
No.
it's difficult to. I would have to do it there, so I will have to book longer time in the hotel. I mean, all of those things that you have to consider. But
I think one way of doing that would be on a build-up, would be, for example, to get together with some of those buttercream aficionados
okay,
and then put out, for example, some training on buttercream. So if they're going to be doing, so they could increase their business and say they're going to be running some courses on buttercream leading up to a competition because they know that there's going to be a competition with buttercream. But you've also got to be very careful on that because there was quite a few years ago, we used to know, for example, the college exhibits. When the colleges were doing flowers and they were doing set pieces, we would come in and say, oh, right, there must be a course in today because you can see, for example, that everybody's done a similar thing. So we've got to have that, we've got to strike that right balance to make sure, for example, that we meet their requirements, but we're in business and we're in business to make sure, for example, that the show survives. And what we don't want to have is a table where we've allocated 40 slots and we're getting 6 exhibits in.
yeah. Melanie, you were going to say something.
So we can certainly discuss that. I think that what we did was, as a tester, we certainly mentioned words. I can't remember which categories, David. You've got the schedule in front of you to include buttercream or any edible medium. And then, like Christina said, then we don't then get people with their buttercream cake, possibly Yvonne, because of the transportation issues. But that said, it would be interesting to see if we did put a buttercream category on, whether we. It's the only way.
What could happen?
Yeah.
What
For example, if you look at Class B there, the head judge's wild card, we've got there on rule number 2, all external mediums must be sugar, chocolate, buttercream, or confectionery or product based.
The option is there. Okay.
The option is always there because we've looked at all of the mediums that we could possibly think of.
It'd be good to work out why they're not picking it up. Yeah, it's a really good question, Yvonne. Thank you.
Yeah.
No, it's okay.
I have a question. I don't know because I've only been in three years so far. Did you used to have live competitions or no?
Live.
Yeah.
Live. Yes.
Like people doing the cakes and decorating everything. Did you have that before?
We did it a couple of times. Yeah, we tried it a couple of times. Oh, I've forgotten to now. You've reminded me. You see, I forgot.
I was just going to say.
Oh, okay.
So this year, yeah, I can't believe I've forgotten that. We've got the Cake Off coming back.
Oh,
we've got the Cake Off battle coming back. Two teams battling it out, which we used to do years ago, but then stopped it because I think we needed a break from it. So now we're bringing it back.
Oh, I think it's good. I think that's a good thing to have this year.
Yeah,
It will
that's a
bring
good idea,
more. It will bring an audience for sure.
Fun and excitement and noise. Yes. Yeah.
Good.
I have an idea as well for a workshop as well. And I spoke to Christina about this. I think so many people struggle with social media, and I think it's one of the key components of running our businesses these days. And I always thought, wouldn't it be great if they had a workshop at Cake International talking about social media? Because there's some people that are absolutely smashing it, and there's some people that absolutely struggle with it and hate it. So I just thought, if they got somebody that really knew their stuff about it, it would be a great idea for a workshop to cover. So because we use it so much, it's so integral, and some people just run their businesses off it now. They don't even have a website. So I just thought that would be a good idea. So I'm just putting it out there.
I think it's an excellent idea because Melanie and I have been going down this route for a long time, and I'm a bit of a dinosaur when it comes to it, and it's a case of trying to pick it up and learn how to use it.
Yeah.
Christina,
No, he's not a dinosaur. Not at all. Not at all.
I didn't say you were. I said I was.
No, I said he was.
I said some people are a dinosaur. I said like me.
It's for himself.
no, that's a great one. Yeah, we have done, but it was too early. We did do a media one, but perhaps now is the time to bring it back.
Yeah, I think it's social media is just an absolute beast, and throw into that AI as well. It's a whole.
That's another thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Don't even get me started on that one. I'm fat.
Food AI as part of his judges training.
Yeah, they have to go. They go through a process of AI and the judges' training.
Right. Yeah. Interesting.
I remember you mentioned that last year, and did you use it for the training of the
We
judges?
use it training, yes. So if we were doing any online training, or if we were going to go down the route of, for example, doing an online competition, I then came up with 8 pictures that I designed from AI and put them on there, and said to the judges which ones are AI, but justify your answer and justify your rationale behind it.
Yeah.
And it was quite interesting to see how many people came back and said, no, that's not AI. And you go, "Ooh." And in the end, it's all AI.
Yeah.
Mm.
Those are great ideas, Yvonne. I know, Melanie, I heard Savannah talking in her podcast the other day that you are going to have you're going to have her there. There's a workshop with her, right? Is it social media? No.
I think she might cover social media. Yeah, I think she certainly touches on it, and the mindfulness and the business side as well. So yeah, that's going to be a great workshop.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, I think it's great that those things start to get included, because it's part of the business, part of the industry.
Yeah.
Mention it. I think our goal, all of us, is to keep this industry alive, right, and current and up to date.
You just have to keep changing with it, don't you? Like Yvonne said, it changed in the 90s with. Although, do I remember the 90s? Am I old enough? Yes, I am. 90s.
I do remember the 90s too.
Yeah. With the comics were introduced in the 90s, weren't they? I remember Jane and Dave. And now it's changing again, but that's okay. We just
We evolve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to ask Jane about that, because when you mentioned, it's like you've been through a turning point and you saw the outcome, and the industry is still here, right?
Yeah. And I think it's being open to change. And, I think partly being a tutor made you aware of the changes going on. And if you stayed in your style that you were taught in, I'd never progressed in my career at all, because I had to be willing to change and move with what was the current trends were, and be open to it and to explore it and to use those skills myself, and that develops you as a person, so you're always learning. And even now I'm always looking to see what's new on the market, what ideas are coming out, and how you can adapt them. And it comes round full circle. Very soon they'll go, as they're starting to do buttercream and do the piping skills, eventually they're going to think, oh, let's try royal icing, that'll be new.
Yeah. I would love royal icing to come back. I would love. I entered Cake International one year because I wanted to single-handedly be responsible for bringing royal icing back. So I decided to enter Cake International with a 3-tier. What was I thinking? A 3-tier royal icing cake with run-out work. I didn't play. Because I did the rules. So I wasn't surprised, but I had to go. But I hated again since. So intimidating. It just, but it's lovely to enter, but very intimidating.
Yeah, it's interesting because I've been asked recently to go to a guild meeting purely to teach royal icing, and they've now wanted me to do a workshop in royal icing. So there is an interest again coming for those skills, and they're looking around saying, well, who can teach it now? because they're finding it
Exactly.
hard to find someone who knows about royal icing to teach it.
I
So,
love it. It's a lovely
yeah,
medium. I really like it.
it's
I
my
like
favourite
the
medium.
string work,
Yeah,
the scrolls.
yeah,
Yeah, it's a lovely medium to work with. It really
it
is. Yeah.
is. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. That's great. So we're coming full circle, and we are hopefully we will be here for a long time to see what the industry is going to turn into, and we keep celebrating together, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's the
definitely,
goal.
Yeah.
definitely.
That's the goal. Great. Yvonne, any last question for our guests?
No, I think I've rattled on enough, and I just don't want my connection to run out anymore. But I really appreciate you taking on some of the things that we've said, and it's been really interesting listening to your feedback and explanations for things. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
thank you, Yvonne. Well, you cannot go. I always ask the same question to all my guests, and Melanie already answered it. David, I don't know if you did. I think you did
Yes,
answer
I've
it as
answered it
well,
several times.
several times. Yvonne, you have also been a guest and you answered, but Jane is the first time. So I have to ask you, if you could bake a cake to anyone, dead or alive, who would that be? And what would that cake look like?
Oh my word! What, bake a cake for someone?
Anyone, dead or alive.
Crumbs. Oh, I've made that many cakes over the years for so many people.
Maybe somebody that you would like to, I don't know, somebody famous or a member of your family that you would like to, I don't know, bake a cake. I don't, Melanie, what was your mom, right? You mentioned your mom.
Yeah,
True.
yeah.
David, I don't remember your answer.
Mine was my mother as well, yes.
Your
Oh,
mom.
was it?
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
no, I was on before you.
You have no idea how many people, I mean, most of my guests usually goes mom, grandmas, because
Oh,
that's
really?
where we learn to bake. That's
Yeah, it
that's
is
the
true.
base. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Yvonne, I don't remember your answer.
Well, my mother's still here, so she gets my baking all the time. But at the time, I did say Barack Obama because I'm a bit of a
True.
fangirl of him. So I
True.
did say I wanted him to try some of my cake. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
true.
Okay.
So Jane, you tell us.
Well, it's completely thrown me because I hadn't really thought. But when you mention family, I suppose really, I have an auntie who taught. I used to be fascinated by her apple pie,
Oh,
and she, my dad's sister, and from Northern Ireland. And whenever we went to her house, she always had apple pie, and
Wow.
she taught me how to make her pastry. And I was quite young, so I think somehow I was inspired by home baking then. So maybe I'd like to make
Nice.
an apple
oh,
pie or a cake that
oh,
to
that's
say thank you.
lovely.
She's no
Yeah.
longer with us, but
That's lovely.
Oh,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
lovely. Yeah.
Mm.
At the end of the day, that's it. That's what cake brings, right? That
yeah,
memory, that
yeah,
sense
Yeah.
of family, of warmth.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
and let's hope our industry keeps being that for so many
yeah.
people. And Cake International will be here for what, 30 more years, Melanie?
Well, I won't be, will I? But yes, blimey, yes, yes, I will.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
think, I
we
think
can
that
celebrate.
we've got to look after the youth because the youth is the
Yeah,
future.
definitely.
That's true.
Yes,
That's true.
yes.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Yeah.
You know,
We need to
look at the
bring
junior
new
class.
blood into the industry. Yeah.
There's one junior class there that we put in this year, and it came from somebody who teaches juniors, who teaches young people.
Oh, it's
And
amazing.
they mentioned, well, why don't you just do a wedding cake for juniors? So this year, for a junior class, we've gotten a wedding cake of 2 tiers.
And David,
And
Wow.
that's to bring them
Oh,
in,
wow.
that's to bring them up to the. And I thought, Melanie and I were both, why didn't we think of that?
no,
Brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah.
just thinking of that. But we've got a lot of entries in the juniors this year, and I'm sure that's
Oh, that's
uh,
awesome.
Andy,
Yeah.
wasn't it? Andy who gave us that idea.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a fabulous idea. Fabulous
Yeah.
idea. So
Oh, great.
we've grown the
That is a
bake
great
section.
idea.
We just want to grow the children's section now because of the future.
The children's section next. Yeah, yeah.
Need them. Yeah, it's true.
Mm.
Oh, that's awesome. That's
Mm.
awesome. Cannot wait to be there and to celebrate with all of you and to see you in person and to have fun at the awards. Yes.
I know. You are coming, aren't you, Christina?
I am. I am going. Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to the awards and I'm going to Cake International. I don't know if I'm entering the competition this year. I don't know. But I'll be there for sure. Yeah, great. Guys, thank you so much for taking the time to be here today. Jane, lovely to meet you.
Thank
I
you.
will see you over there at Cake
Yeah.
International. Yvonne, thank you so much for this collaboration, because I mean, we're having fun doing this.
Yeah.
Melanie and David, always
We
a
are.
pleasure
Yeah.
having you
Yeah.
here.
Thank you.
So thank you so much. And to everybody listening, thank you for listening. And as always, stay safe and stay creative. I'll see you next time.